I personally like going to Planet Hollywood when we have premieres of The Empire. It's always good when the premiere party's here because A, it's close to the cinema, but it's also a great venue. It's exciting and vibrant.
This is the projection room at the Planet Hollywood restaurant screening room right near Piccadilly Circus. My name's Regil Larkman. I've been here from the very first day we opened. It's now May 1998 and this very week is our 5th anniversary celebration. There's to be a terrific party here tomorrow night. All the big stars will be over and they're actually closing off Coventry Street for the purpose. Barriers everywhere. Hopefully it'll be a bit like the night we opened here exactly 5 years ago. We've got 2 Victoria 8 projectors here capable of 70 and 35mm, although 70mm projection here is very thin on the ground. A few years ago we put in digital formats, Dolby SRD and DTS, and in fact about 95% of all product run in this screening room is now with a digital soundtrack. We also have capabilities of running 35 double head with all the different formats, stereo, mono, 2-track, 3-track, 4-track and up to 6-track. We can play all the video formats here, Beta SP, Sony U-matic, Laserdisc, VHS, lots of goodies to play with here. It's a bit mind-boggling, but I think after 5 years I've got to grips with it all. One of the greatest pleasures of being a projectionist here is of course I deal with top movie stars nearly the whole time, and I mean the highest of the high. Top international stars coming here almost every day for their screenings. I'm quite friendly with most of them. Some are a little bit tricky, but then that is life. We have a great time, lots of great movies, months and months in advance of release of course. The show always goes perfect, it has to, and very rarely is there time for rehearsal because prints arrive about 1 hour before screen time in most cases, so it's a question of out of the can, into the projector, providing they head out of course. Checking cues is, you're lucky to get time to do that, and all shows here go perfect. I can honestly say in the 5 years we've been open, we haven't had one single film break here. And under the circumstances which I operate, that's not a bad record, I don't think. Going back to the 70mm facility that we've got here, we've only used it 4 or 5 times in that 5-year period. The first time was a movie called Baraka, which had a very limited release in the UK. In fact, I think it just played at one West End cinema. It was an hour-and-a-half travelogue, but without any commentary. And we also only the other day had a screening of Apocalypse Now, and I am given to believe it's the only print in the country. It was in a shocking state, but it went through the machines somehow. And there was one other picture, I can't remember the name of it just at the moment. It got a very limited release here. It was a 4-hour picture about the American Civil War.
Gettysburg?
It was Gettysburg indeed. We had Gettysburg here a couple of times. And one of the shows of Gettysburg was just to Julie Christie on her own.
Wow.
4-hour 70mm just for her. But of course the most notorious 70mm picture we ever ran here, there were 2 screenings of it, was Hamlet. Now that was quite something. To run Hamlet with changeovers on 70mm is quite something because some of the reels only ran a mere 7 minutes and there were 20 of them. But once again, the show went absolutely perfectly and we ran that here twice. But that's about all we've done on 70mm here. And I do believe we are the only private screening room, possibly in the whole of Europe, with 70mm facilities. Great fun here. Just a little bit about the Victoria 8 70-35 dual projectors we've got here. First of all, starting at the top of the machine, this of course is the penthouse which carries the magnetic head for the 6-track mag. That of course is the magnetic head there for the 6 tracks, so the film goes through all those rollers around there over the magnetic head which picks up the sound, then the film comes through those rollers there into the machine. At the moment the projector is geared up for 35mm projection. I have to make about 12 alterations to each machine to enable it to be ready for 70mm projection. Things like the pad rollers here have to be turned round so that the 7 at the bottom is at the top. which enables me to run 70mm film on that sprocket there, and likewise others. And I'll just open the lens turret there. One of the lenses has to be taken out of the turret and a 70mm lens put in. The whole gate assembly has to be changed, which means removing this part and the back part, and a heat shield which is inside there has to come out. New aperture plate has to go in. So there's quite a lot to do. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to do each machine because the xenon has to be realigned and the current increased. Xenon lamp current has to be increased, of course, when going on to 70mm, because the light output has to be much brighter than that 35. So the xenon lamp has to be realigned. Spools, of course, have to be taken off, and there are special elbows on the spindles which have to come off so you can get 70mm spools on okay. But as I said, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to adapt each machine. Then you have to run line-up loops on the screen, make sure light output from both projectors is identical, and both projectors are perfectly aligned for 70mm. It's a lot of work to go through just to run a film once, but when you run a place like the Planet Hollywood Screening Room, it's something that you just have to live with. Just here, of course, you see the readers for digital sound formats. DTS is just there, and that's the Dolby digital head there. About 3 or 4 years ago, I said to management at Planet Hollywood, I think we should install digital sound in our screening room. Well, the guys that run Planet Hollywood, as good as they are, knew very little about cinema projection equipment. They merely took my word for it, and at tremendous cost. Digital was put in here almost overnight, and thank God for that, because as I said earlier in this, about 95% of my work contains digital soundtracks. There is one digital format we don't have here, that is the SDDS system, pioneered by Sony. I'm keeping a very close eye on the situation, and I'm sure if I felt the expense justified, we would have it put in pretty quickly. But at this moment in time, I don't feel that SDDS is big enough to justify us putting it in. After all, nearly all pictures now are multi-track printed, so you can run it SRD anyway, and that's in fact what I do here. Nearly all our digital is SRD, so no SDDS here. Now I'll explain a little bit about the double head facilities that we have here at Planet Hollywood. Our magnetic tracks run with the projectors are from this machine here. It's a magnetic machine, so I would lace a reel of magnetic sound up on this top spool. It would come through the rollers here, round past the magnetic head there, would take up on there, so reel 1 would take up on that spool there, and then when the picture is laced as well, I simply hit a button there, green light comes on, which is like green for go, but it actually says interlock there, and when I switch on the projector motor to reel 1, both this soundtrack and the picture run together perfectly in sync, we hope. No, they always do here at Planet Hollywood. We don't have mistakes here.